Hello, I am Tim Alberg. I'm the Assistant Director of Admission for the School for Professional Studies at Elmhurst College. What you're about to see is a little webinar, a webinar version, I should say, of a workshop that we do at our graduate information sessions. And this particular one is about writing a successful statement of purpose, or your application essay, and it features our Associate Director of Admission here for the School for Professional Studies, Will Kartsimus. So go ahead and take it away, Will.
All right, thank you, Tim. Again, hello everyone. My name is Will Kartsimus. I am the Associate Director of Admission and Management here for the School for Professional Studies. So this slide webinar is for students that are, if you're thinking about writing a statement of purpose, if you have started to brainstorm, if you are developing a framework for what to write, or if you have written an entire personal statement. There's some quick tips that we'll discuss here that will help you really make it pop, really articulate what your academic passion is, what your professional passions are, and how these programs and these graduate programs will help you reach your professional and academic goals. So without further ado, how many of you are familiar with this? The dreaded blank white Word document. I know it produces a lot of anxiety for some students. I know you finally get to the point where you have decided to write, you're ready to write, you're in a great position to start writing, and you open up the Word doc and this is staring back at you. Well, not to fear. Or you wait for this. It's a full schedule. It has free time blocked off, and you've diligently looked through your week to block off some time. Well, before our tips, remember this. Time management, writing, motivation, and momentum are equally as important as the following tips that we will discuss. So tip number one, it's best to start with a Google document. So in Google Drive, you would open up a Word doc, and it's the best way to begin to brainstorm your project management experience, outline a personal story, really just think about why at this time, at this junction, you are ready to enter graduate school, and then what you really want to say about that. And so it gives you an opportunity to not only start a Word document for yourself, but also share with others, family or friends. Perhaps they can help augment or supplement what you write, what you're thinking about, and they will for sure be able to edit and revise and really give you a good idea of where you are in your statement once you have concluded. Because as we know, it is very important for students, or I should say our applicants, to have somebody else read their personal statement for errors, for grammatical errors, for syntax, for ideas. So we always ask students to have another pair of eyes look at your statement before you submit. And so the Google Drive, Google Docs is a great way to start. And once you start in that document, you really want to answer the question or articulate and demonstrate intellectual curiosity, energy, commitment, motivation, and a passion for learning. These are terms that we discuss and that we kind of throw around in our admission committee as we review files. Our program directors, our faculty, our admission staff, these are the things we look for, the themes that we look for in your statement of purpose. And so once again, how do you demonstrate intellectual curiosity? And although you'll be telling a personal story, it is important to talk about your main academic interests and why graduate school will supplement your personal story, your professional life. So intellectual curiosity is a theme, and a theme you should ask yourself, am I demonstrating this enough in my statement? Another theme is energy. With energy, can you write with motivation? Can you write with enthusiasm? When you talk about your goals, can you write that in an energetic way? And then do you demonstrate commitment? Is it because of perhaps work experience, a project that you worked on, that type of commitment from beginning, middle, and end? If you can demonstrate that, and it's something our faculty look for as well. Then motivation and a passion for learning. Are you motivated to not only start but finish this program, finish a graduate program? Do you have a passion for learning? Do you try to learn outside of the box? Do you try to go above and beyond to learn kind of that boundary spanning type of learning? And don't be afraid to tell us in your personal statement, where do you get your news? How do you learn? Do you subscribe to journals? Really anything that demonstrates a passion above and beyond learning is a great way to cap off your personal statement, begin a personal statement. So these are really the themes that you want to take a look at when you are writing. All right, tip number 2, reflect and update. In addition to writing a Google Doc, how do you leverage technology? It's all around us, and it really can help capture ideas when you're on the go. For instance, you know how to use your voice recorder on your phone, on your tablet, and then just beyond technology. Once you have, if you're driving, hopefully you're not using your cell phone while you're driving, but can you capture ideas when you're just sitting and thinking? So beyond technology, can you reflect? Do you take time to reflect for a few minutes, really every day, to reflect on your day, your performance, things that have happened that could have went better, things that challenged you today, things you did really well? These are great things to take into consideration so you can ultimately frame your work experience. Now, the best way to frame your work experience, or an easy way to frame your work experience, that if you have a LinkedIn profile, you have to update your resume every quarter, every half year, year. Obviously, if you have the same job from year to year, you may have different bullet points on there. And so that's a great way to force you to think about your work and frame your work experience. And then tip number 3 is that significant experiences can be small. So maybe you haven't built a software company in your garage or your dorm room. If you have, we'd love to know. But again, you may not have traveled or actively volunteered to save the rainforest in Costa Rica, and that's okay. We really want to know, your project management, your work experience. You can start there, and then you can break down the different components of a project at work, at school, and then answer the question, what has your decision-making style taught you? What have you learned from the easy decisions, from the hard decisions, the different personalities of teammates and coworkers that you worked with? So if you start with a story, if you start with a project management experience and go step by step, that's a great way to go back to tip number 1 and talk about the themes that we mentioned. So tip number 4, evaluate. You want to describe less, summarize less, and really examine more. So critically examine how your experiences have affected you and those around you. What did you learn from those experiences? How did you learn, grow, and develop personally or professionally? And these are tough questions to answer. So if you're trying to answer them or think about them right now, it's a great start, but it does take some time to really evaluate experiences and examine critically what happened as you prepared for a project, what happened when you're working through challenges, and then in reflection. So tip number 5, revise, edit, then edit some more. So going back to tip number 1, in a Google Doc, you'll want to share your statement, and Google Drive makes it easy to do so. And then whoever is reviewing or revising or editing with you or helping you out can look for various actionable edits. And these are very, very easy. The difference between peaked versus peaked. P-E-A-K-E-D is mountain peak. P-I-Q-U-E is something that piqued your interest. So P-I-Q-U-E-U-E-D, piqued your interest, is the common phrase for a student that writes and says, for instance, the Master's in Business Administration piqued my interest. All right, second bullet, 2, 2, and 2. There, and they are very common mistakes. A lot of times Google Doc, a Word doc, won't pick up these very simple little writing grammatical moves. A very wise English teacher once told me, say goodbye to that. And so if you write the word that, most likely you will not need to use it, and so you can delete it without even thinking. And then really, how many commas do you need in your statement? And a short phrase about that is short, crisp sentences. All right, so we're thinking about one idea per sentence. A lot of students try to cram a lot of ideas into one sentence. It is best to think one idea per sentence. Short, crisp sentences are the best. All right, so tip number 6, avoid the following. Vagueness and repetition. If you answer how and why, this will really fix the problem. So I was promoted for meeting my goals. The MBA program piqued my interest. I plan to pursue nursing. I want to provide help to those in need. If you answer how and why these meeting your goals, piquing your interest, and pursuing nursing as an example, if you answer how and why, then you'll move far beyond vagueness and being repetitive. And so how has an experience or project impacted you? It's very important. And then 1,000 words may be the limit for our personal statement, but it is certainly not the goal. If you answer in more than 1,000 words, we will certainly keep reading. We won't stop at 999. But if your statement comes in at 750 and it articulates your interest, and you've examined the themes that we mentioned about showing intellectual curiosity and motivation and drive and evidence of goal setting, that's great as well. So if you have any questions, we would invite you and extend a warm opportunity and welcome to either call us, check us out on the website, or email us at sps@elmhurst.edu. Again, my name is Will Kartsmith. I'm the Associate Director of Admission Management here for the School for Professional Studies, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Will.